It's a kid's show, right? The Pinko Pick? No. No way. Who told you that? I mean, yeah, technically, it's on the Young Adult Network, but it's way too scary, and the mythology's way too complicated for most kids. Time wasn't right. It was moving too fast. And then I was 19, and then I was 20. I felt like one of those dolls asleep in the supermarket, stuffed. And then I was 21, like chapters skipped over on a DVD. I told myself, this isn't normal. This isn't normal. This isn't how life is supposed to feel. I don't know why life is going so quickly for all of you. My life feels like it goes very slowly. I think back to college or even to high school. High school was, this summer will be 11 years for me since I graduated. And that feels like forever ago. I can't even imagine going back to high school or how much life I've lived. I went through all of college since then. Every TV show I've worked on has been in that time. Literally 4-year college degree, every TV show I worked on, the 2 years it took me to like get an actual TV career in between. I just don't relate to this thing that says that time flies. My birthday's in September and a bunch of my friends came down for my 30th birthday and I haven't seen them since then. And it feels like I haven't seen my friends in forever. It's not like when I see them again, I'm gonna be like, oh, I just saw you yesterday. No, it's like, it's been months. It feels like months. I feel like I literally haven't seen them in years. I don't know. Things don't move quick for me. I don't know if I have this unique experience or people are exaggerating when they talk to each other, but my life isn't flying by. When I try to think back to 20, that was so long ago. If I try to think back to 10, that is so much life that went by. I can't imagine the difference between like 30 and 40. Could I buy that maybe it goes slightly quicker because there's less like milestones that happen between 30 and 40? Perhaps. But I would wager in the next 10 years that there is a few big things that are going to happen. I'm most likely going to get married. I'll probably have children. I will hopefully make my movie. Hopefully I have a career that I actually want. That seems like a lot of things to happen in a decade. There's never been a movie that I've so desperately wanted to love like I Saw the TV Glow. I guess the closest thing is when I got out of Tenet, and because I'm a Nolan fanboy, I gaslit myself into believing it was a really good movie. I think I gave it 3.5 on Letterboxd. I'm left very conflicted about I Saw the TV Glow, mainly because the version of the movie I saw is not the version of the movie that I wanted. And that is almost a compliment to the director, because in this movie, they show us a TV show called The Pinko Peck. And this is what Maddie and Owen, our protagonists, essentially bond over, which is this story about these two girls who meet at a summer camp. They have magical powers and they fight a monster of the week. At the end of season 6, they lose to the monster and they get buried and their hearts get ripped out. Because the show gets canceled, there's no season 7 and we never see how they survive and they come back and beat the monster. There's some debate about this, but that is implied online that they actually are in the TV show and that Owen and Maddie are these girls in the show. And when Maddie returns and she speaks to Owen and she says, the Pinko Peck is real, and she's trying to talk him out of it, that is actually all happening and she's trying to get him, but Owen rejects it and he chooses the safety of his normal world and his time passing and all this stuff. The thing is, you can still make this a trans allegory and you can have the better version of the movie. If you ever watched Babylon and you sat through all 2 hours and 50 minutes of it and it's showing you how shitty Hollywood is and how bad it treats everyone and how everyone is just, gets forced out of the industry and it's messy and people die. People literally get shit on by an elephant. And then they show you a highlight reel of all these famous movies that come out. And then you're watching these movies and you're like, whoa, so this is all the things that Hollywood produced because all these people got shat on for so long. But then you're like, I rather would have watched any one of those movies that popped up in the highlight reel rather than the movie I'm watching now. That's a similar feeling I had to watching the Pinko Peck within I Saw the TV Glow. You're setting up such an interesting world where our protagonist is essentially the character of the TV show trapped in the movie we're watching. Explore that. Like, that is such a cool concept. Have that character do the trans allegory and break out and accept who they are. And at the same time, cross-cut that within the Pinko Peck TV show and have the girls get their heart back and defeat the monster and get off the Luna juice and then come back to reality. And at the same time, you could essentially merge those characters where we have Owen accepting that he is the girl in the TV show and you can complete the trans allegory that way. Instead, what we have is this pretty lame scene where Owen cuts his chest open and reveals that there is a TV inside. And then he kind of just walks away and he apologizes and the movie ends. And it's so disappointing. It feels like an artsy choice instead of a good entertainment choice. And I think the movie suffers for it. Personally, I would have rather had that awesome cross-cutting, put me in the TV show, give me 701 of the Pinko Pick, and then I would have been much more satisfied than what we got. Here's the thing too, if you wanted to stay in the movie world that we were seeing, where like Owen is and Maddie is, we could have done that, and you still could have found a creative way to break the girls out of the Pinko Pick and reflect that in Owen. I just don't think cutting the chest open, showing the TV is the way to do it. It's implied a couple times in the show where his dad is like staring at him and his coworkers are staring at him, that he's being monitored and everything's stuck and there's like some freaky shit going on. You can do that all. Like, why don't you continue to do that in the real world and have these awesome moments and then have him break out? Like, there's so much opportunity for creativity here. And I really think this could have been my favorite movie of the year if they had pulled these things off. But like, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated because I want a different version of this movie. A different version of this movie is easily my movie of the year, but it's just not what we got. I rewatched it a couple weekends ago and I took shrooms because I was like, okay, maybe this will help. And it didn't help at all. Very disappointing. Total waste of a shroom high. I was just watching it and I was like, man, this is not what I want. This isn't really a movie review. I don't really like to do movie reviews. I like to talk about the story elements and I don't want to assign scores on here. If you want to see that stuff, you guys can go on my Letterboxd. But I do want to mention this. There's a couple frustrating scenes, and the biggest one is when Maddie returns and she talks to Owen in the bar, and Maddie is like saying that, hey, we're in the Pinko Pick and all this is going on. And we see Phoebe Bridgers, who I have a giant crush on, and she is so distracting, like ridiculously distracting in this movie. Like, why is she there? There's no reason for her to be there, and it bothers me immensely. She doesn't do anything. She sings and strums the guitar, and she's not even the main singer on the band. And then while all this is happening, after she leaves the stage, there's another band and it's like a metal scream band. And I don't know if this is something in the trans community, like that's an important person and this is just like someone getting plugged in, but it's a shitty scene and that really needs to go. Phoebe, I love you, but you gotta go. You gotta be out of that movie. If you're still here, you know that I Saw the TV Glow is not going to be my favorite movie of the year. But if you want to know that information, just sign up for my Substack. It's completely free. You literally just put in your email, and when I write something, it goes to your email. I'm not going to be writing all the time. I'm not going to be that person that does like 3 blogs a week. We're talking like a few posts a year. Even the subreddit like bothers me because there's so many things. I was like, that was brilliant. Why could you not bring this to the level it should be? These are the times I wish I was friends with these people and, you know, they sent me a script and they actually cared about my notes. And maybe I could stop them in time and we can get like a better version of these movies because they're like right there on the precipice of making something great. And unfortunately, they just fall short.